What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is Chicago-based rapper, producer, and poet Semiratruth. We spoke about astrology, Dexter, Euphoria, Southside, Spike Lee, growing up listening to MF Doom, mortality, her time in the YouMedia program, developing her craft, the pros and cons of oversharing, the influence of Sun Ra, and the creative process behind her latest album, I Got Bandz for the Moonlandin. Come fuck with us.
That shit always scare me when it be like, this meeting. What if I just left the meeting? If I was like,
yeah, this shit like GTL or something. Like,
yeah.
If you'd like to make a collect, like, nah.
Like, no, okay. It's okay.
What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back. This is one of the first two episodes of season 2. This is the first one I'm recording, so I'm like, yeah, like I've been on break for a month, so I'm just trying to get my brain back. I'm trying to get back into it, like riding a bike type shit. It's Dylan Green, CineMasai. I got a lot of names. I do a lot of shit, but this is what I'm doing right now. We're having fun, and I got somebody really incredible on the show with me today. Person's a rapper, producer. I think would it be okay for me to call you a star child? Because I feel like after Moonlandin, it might be appropriate.
Laughing my fucking ass off. I guess, yeah. I feel like in different forms, I see myself as like a star child, but sure.
Yeah, nah, it's just, it was just like, because I was listening right before I was listening to Moonlandin again right before you called, and I was just like, this is something that if somebody were to just like come in on this, it'd be like, oh, this person must be a star child. It just made me laugh. I don't know why, but but rapper producer.
What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
A Pisces. Leave me.
Why does everybody hate the fishes, bro? Everybody hates us. Oh my
God. You should ask next time somebody says that. Not me though, not me. But next time somebody said that, you should be like, what happened to you? What was the situation where Pisces like fucked you up? And then you gotta like listen to it, and then you gotta be like, damn, I understand now, you know?
Right. Nah, that's
fucking with you.
No, that's valid. That's valid. Yeah, rapper producer extraordinaire, one of Chicago's finest. She's been going for a little while, but like it's really, like I feel like it's starting to pick up some crazy momentum. We got Semiratruth in the building. Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Yo, thank you for coming on my shit. I really appreciate you.
Of course.
Nah, yeah, my homie, I think our mutual homie Crash Prez put me on to Mira when it came out last year.
Oh shit, yeah, and I love Crash Prez.
Yeah, man. Michael's the best. He's like the best at everything. He
really is. How do y'all know each other?
We met through, he wrote a piece on Kodak Black that I cited in something I wrote when XXXTentacion and Kodak Black had all those sexual assault charges. I wrote a piece about like how fucked up all their shit is, and I cited his piece, and he hit me and was like, yo, thank you, and we just started talking, and that's like the homie now. Like we're like best friends, talk like damn near like 2-3 times a week type shit. He's amazing.
He's great. Like as long as I know him, been so talented and so like, yeah, amazing.
How did y'all meet?
Okay, I think I know. We met. I feel like we've always known each other in the scene. You know what I mean? But I think we officially met. I was in a workshop that Def C was hosting, and Atu was hosting. And Atu was hosting called Rec Shop, and it was like a every weekend at Young Chicago Authors. They had like a little rap workshop, so I would just go there, and I think we would see each other a couple times, but then like we really got into I think around that time, 2019-ish. But I feel like we met before that. I just can't remember.
Yeah, nah, it's just like, yeah, things just kind of blur together after a while. Even the people you love, like that's been happening to me a lot too. Like, it's just like it's almost like you can't imagine your life without certain people, but it's like, when did we first meet? I don't know. Like, you
Right,
just been here.
literally. And it's crazy to just think there was a time that like there was people in, not just talking about like Crash Press, but there was people in your life that like are a consistent, and like you just be like, yeah, I don't remember when I met your ass. And also, it's one of them things where people always say time is a construct, XYZ, and then you don't realize that you have to like look back at some shit, and you like either that seemed like yesterday, or I don't remember that shit at all. So yeah.
Yeah, time is a flat circle, especially now, and like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't even have nothing to add. That's just it. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's cliche at this point, but like, fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here. What was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
um, I like just finished watching Dexter.
Oh, the new one?
I watched, so I'd never seen it before in my life. So like I got into it when I went to New York for all of November. My friend's partner put me on to like Dexter. And then from then on out, I had just been binging it from the very beginning, like the old like one. And then I just finished it yesterday, like to the new one. I just finished the new one yesterday. So
So so when you first started it, how'd you like it? And how do you like the new one? Because it's like a lot of people I know who fuck with Dexter were not fucking with the new shit they just brought back.
okay. And I feel like I was happy to have binged it and I guess I just caught it where the new one ended. So I got to see it from start to finish uninterrupted, unless I
See, that's
wanted to
cool.
take a break. I loved it. But I feel like at first, Dexter in general, I'm just like, here go like another like white man we supposed to sympathize for because he killing people and he got a problem like XYZ. Da, da, da. Then I got a little ashamed that I got into it because I think like that whole like everybody loves a good whole like story arc where the worst men are getting taken out by a bad man, if that makes sense. Like we love to, because I feel like we all connect with we got a little bad in us. So I feel like I always had just mixed feelings about Dexter, and that didn't like change when the new one came out. And when I saw the new one, I love the change in videography, which is obvious because it's a Dexter, I think, started in like the early 2000s, and then for it to
Yeah.
be now, of course, it's gonna be an update. But it was kind of beautiful. The landscape was beautiful. I just am happy how it ended. Like, I kind of want to spoil it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the new season. I have a weird, real quick, I have a weird relationship because I think I said this on another episode, but either way, long story short, me and one of my best friends,
Mm-hmm.
we like when Netflix was first starting to do streaming, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about, like back when they did DVDs and shit.
No, but I
We watch
remember that shit too.
that shit is crazy. Like it's crazy that we're at that point with Netflix, right? Like
Literally.
so like we watched the first episode of Dexter and the first
Mm-hmm.
episode of Weeds in the same night, and
Okay,
he
I've
went
never
off.
seen that.
Weeds is cool. It's also kind of like
Okay.
I'll explain later. But
Yeah.
he started watching all of Dexter, and I started watching all the Weeds. Like I ran
Okay.
through as much of it as I could, and I never got to finish Dexter. I think I made it through like half of the third or the fourth season.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't actually finish it, and I didn't see the new one. But you can spoil
Okay.
it if you want. Like if anybody here listening, like skip ahead like
Right.
3 5 minutes or whatever, you could do that. We have the technology, but like go ahead and spoil it. I'm
Okay.
all ears.
Well, I was very happy about the ending because the ending made so much sense. Like his son ended up killing him. It kind of they made it where it was like he had to. And I love, for some reason I really like the term sins of the father because I feel like that shit is like so true. And that was the title, I believe, of that last episode. And I'm just like, see, all this time we're rooting for Dexter, he's like fucking shit up for real. Like, even though he is being a vigilante and he's like clearing up the trash of he's also trash. Like, he's like created it where his like sister is dead. You know what I mean? Like, he's created where his first wife is dead. Like, he fucked up his daddy life, his son's life. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy you got, because they did like a whole flashback too. It was very dramatic. Like, oh, like it's the only way. Like, you shoot right here. I was just like, yeah, shoot him. But I don't know. That show, it was my binge show. And I'm kind of a little sad that it's like over. But I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, like I get that because that's like honestly like them finally killing Dexter is like that's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Just because like it's like the whole since I haven't seen the whole thing, I guess I could compare it to something like Breaking Bad, right? Where like Walter
Mhm.
White winds up dying at the end. I'm not sure if anybody here's if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, this shit's a decade old. Go watch
I
Breaking
haven't
Bad.
seen it. I haven't seen it, but I know the plot, and I feel like I never was like, I'm gonna watch that. I don't know why. I was just like, I'm never gonna watch that.
It's intense. Like I don't
Yeah,
really recommend. Like if you're not into that type of shit, I can't really recommend it because
yeah.
it's like because like I was a dumbass and I watched the second half of the fourth season in one
Mm-hmm.
9 hour stretch, and like
Ooh,
it was like and like
traumatizing.
it was traumatized. Like I couldn't get off my couch. I was just like I was just like laying there like I felt like I was like in a vegetative state or something, just like
Oh,
why did
I
I do
hate when
this to
like
myself?
shows
Like
do that to me. I feel like I'm being hypnotized.
yeah, like and it's just and you know, like it's just one of those things where you just think to yourself like are we supposed to mainline television like this? Like is
Yeah.
like is this type of content good to just like take in over the course
Oh
of 10
nah.
hours
Even
type shit?
Dexter, I was like, am I a murderer? I literally was like, am I a murderer? But
Nah, but you know, like if you can handle it and like that's what you know, like that's like the whole appeal of a show like Dexter is that you know you have that remove, but
mhm,
like from what I saw, it did a decent job of not like I mean like outside of the fact that he kept on getting away and shit, it did a decent
mhm.
job of not of just like acknowledging the fact that this guy is a monster and you shouldn't be him, but at the
Yeah,
same time you know like he's white,
yeah.
people get sympathy and it's you know it's a lot to unpack there
It is a lot to
as with
unpack.
anything but
It is a lot to unpack, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why I like shows like that. I think I'm a big psychological thriller person. And I think it'll be moments where Dexter got boring, but then it will pick back up with like a psychological, like, who is actually the mama, who da da da. I don't know. It's just I love that shit. I love it. I love it.
yeah no I like that shit too it isn't quite the same but the show that I like is it's not the same it's not a thriller but it's just as intense. I've been binging Euphoria over the course of the last week
I seen the first
and
season. I'm like, I can't do the second. I can't. I
yeah
just can't do the second. Is it
it's
good?
ugh. It's cool like somebody on Twitter tweeted something along the lines of like Euphoria is just A24 Degrassi and like yes you know like that's basically what it is
I love
and
Degrassi.
yeah yeah like it's hilarious because Drake was on Degrassi and I think they're bringing it back but he's also an executive producer on Euphoria and
He
like
is.
he is yeah like I only saw because I peeped the credits one time and I was like oh Drake did this too so it's so like it's just you know he like it's just like not that it's like executive producers don't have all that much power but
Hmm.
it's just like that tinge of drama that comes with
Yeah.
everything Drake touches type
It
shit.
just it just made me laugh because I remember the first time I heard about Drake. This like middle school. Somebody's
Yeah
like, "Have you heard Drake? Like, have you heard Drake? His songs are really good. He's rapping." And I thought they were talking about Drake and Josh for like so for the first half an hour of this not interview of this like conversation. I was like, "What?" I was like, "The white boy is rapping." I was like, "No." But they was like, "No, it's this person." I was like, oh, "Okay."
Man shit and yeah now Drake is like 10 like Drake's 11 12 albums in and Drake Bell is in jail for
I think he
grooming
literally
a
is in
child like
literally, yeah, literally in jail or still in that trial or hopefully in jail.
yeah like
'Cause-
Jesus. But yeah, long story short, I've been think I got one more episode to catch up on Euphoria. And
oh,
it's like Degrassi in the sense that it's you know like you saw the first season. It's like super
mhm,
dramatic and
mhm,
like to me the thing that's really gotten me is that it's beautiful to look at. Like the cinematography is amazing,
It really
like just
is. It's really good. It's really good. It's
yeah.
like this one movie. I forgot what it was called, but it's also on like I think HBO. And it's like the son got like anger issues, but it's shot just like Euphoria. I forgot the name to be honest, but I like to have black people in it. I don't know.
Hey, it wasn't Moonlight, was it?
No, what the fuck was it? It has something to do with like water. So the title was like Waves or some shit like that.
I think it was Waves. I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little. I kind of don't like it because they made this like black man look like I don't know. I don't want to ruin it, but he killed somebody. He killed somebody.
Oh
I
man.
don't know.
Oh man.
It's so much with me and TV or like movies. Now that again, as I'm getting older and I know more stuff, I just can't enjoy shit no more. I'd be so sad because I'd be like, I don't like that. I don't like that. What is that? Like, I don't know. But TV, also the South Side. That's a good, funny show.
Oh, yo, I just ran through the season. Like I was just talking to somebody about that 20
Don't
minutes
ruin
ago.
it. I know, like it's not a show to ruin, but like I'm like on episode 7 of the first season, and it's funny as
Okay.
hell. It's so
Yo,
funny.
yeah, nah, like it's like maybe the funniest TV show I've seen, like the funniest new TV show I've seen since maybe what's the other one? I think you should leave a lot, but I think this is funnier than that. Like it's just
It's
man.
so, and it's funnier when you like are from Chicago. I was born on the South Side too. Like I was born on the
Right.
South Side. Most of my little like young years raised on the South Side. So to like when they hear, and I don't think the like Chicago shows center around that side a lot or the community a lot. So to
Right.
hear those names and be like laughing at the jokes and get the jokes or get like, oh, you don't want to be over there or like whatever. It's just very funny to me. So and the
Yeah.
archetypes in the show are very. I'm like I can tell there were Chicago people in the writers' room. I can tell. So
See, I love stuff. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
But yeah, I love stuff like I love stuff that's like really regionally specific and like not just to like Jersey and New York, because I feel like they're like the center of the universe and we've seen that shit like 80 billion
Yes,
times,
it
which
is.
which cool, but like just like to see stuff like South Side and stuff like Detroiters, which I've been watching a lot too, which is basically like South Side but for Detroit. It's great.
Detroit, yeah.
But I was just thinking about like Officer Turner is maybe like the funniest TV character I've seen in anything. Like
Yes.
she's incredible, son.
It's the woman cop, right?
Yeah, the other one's
Yes.
Good Night.
Oh my God, so funny. And she acts like a Chicago like woman. Like that's a Chicago woman for real. Like hilarious. Like I don't know. And the other dude, like the fact that he's like he's like, I want to go back to the north side, or like he's like haunted by like the south side, or just haunted by like it's very funny.
Right. You know what's funny? I looked it up. They're married. Officer Goodnight and Officer Turner.
Really? See the
Yeah.
chemistry. Okay. I can't. It's funny. Okay. Hilarious.
Yeah, they're married, and Goodnight he was the guy who created the show, and like he's from the South Side too. So like it's like he cast himself as the guy who hates the South Side, but he like it's just
I love that. Yeah, that shows like I'm braiding my hair right now. I'm like, it's the perfect show to put on and multitask like, and laugh. It's great.
everybody go watch South Side, because like I've been yelling
Yeah.
about it ever since I heard about it too. So like
It's so fun. Like, and I think the way it is, when at first I was like, I'm not interested, because I think Spike Lee made a movie about Chicago, scarred me. There's a show called The Shy. It's okay. It's not great. It's not like anything good. And I think it's from what I've seen, it romanticizes violence a little bit. And I think with Chicago, like it's a tender subject for a lot of folks from here. The fact that a lot of people just be romanticizing like certain things and like putting Chicago violence together. But I feel like I really like the South Side because it's just like South Side. I think it's real to a certain extent, and I think it like uses that violence thing to make jokes sometimes, if that makes sense. So like they'll be like when the Officer Goodnight was shooting on the roof, and then they was like they had to shut it down because the neighborhood was too violent. I thought that was very funny. Like, I don't know, but Southside does a good job at kind of like keeping culture, like the way Chicagoans act and move. It's very funny. I love it. I love it.
Right. Yeah, I fuck with it too. Yeah, like take it from somebody from Chicago. Like
Literally,
go.
it's so good.
Yeah, no, it's fire. I might honestly watch it through again. Like I just do it.
Just to do it, because it's a great, like, I don't know, the jokes. I love when jokes are like on it too. You know what I mean? Just on the money.
Yeah, like and like they make it look easy and that type of shit to make it authentic and to make it funny and to like not have it to just like get that balance of it not trying too hard, like it's real hard to like make that come through and not just get it chopped down by people who don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm really interested in the base that you seem to have with media. So like let's take it like even further back than that. Like what's the first movie experience you can remember having? Like it could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house, it could be wherever, like your first time watching a movie.
A movie? Probably there's a movie. I just remember my mom would have a lot of DVDs. My dad actually had like a whole flip book of DVDs. I burned DVD like with the name. He wrote the names on them. So there's like a couple movies that stick out. My mom also had like box DVDs that you buy. I remember a movie called Claudette. I don't know why that like stuck with me. Like James Earl Jones is in it, and then I forgot the leading lady name. I think I don't want to be killed. Lena Horne, I think is the name. I have to look.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like I've heard of that before, but it doesn't like super duper ring a bell. Let me see.
Yeah, it's like a movie about like a woman and her kids on welfare. Then like James Earl Jones comes in and is like trying to be like snuggle up to the mom, and they like, I don't know. It's one of them movies. Then you have for me The Wiz. I really like The Wiz because like the colors and like the numbers were really good. And I still remember to this day, like, she's a wizard. Like, I don't know. Just yeah. And then for some reason I'm remembering Click.
Wow.
Adam Sandler.
Wow.
Gee, that movie would have me shook. When I was young, Click had me in shambles because I'm like, he lost his whole life because he wanted to, I don't know. The message at 10 years old really resonated with me for something. I was like, damn, like I can't live my life, wanted to move forward quickly, like XYZ, I don't know. But then him like dying in the end, the way he did, like fake pump dying, like he like passed out in the parking lot. They made it so dramatic. Like they was like, we're gonna have Adam Sandler run after his daughter and then pass out in the rain in a hospital again. Have you seen it?
Yo, yeah, I've seen it. Like,
okay, like
yo, that shit had me fucked up because like the trailer didn't show you any of the sad shit. It was just like he gets the remote and then he like pauses on David Hasselhoff and he beats him up and he rewind and then like I see the movie and then he fast forwards and he's old and he's dying and that scene happens and I'm like, what the like this is not what I was expecting. Like
it's like what is going on here? Especially again for like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old. I'm like, what? Hilarious.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, like I guess like because like I appreciate gut punches like that. Like not like I didn't feel like fooled or betrayed. I was like, oh, there's like, there was more to this than they wanted people to know. And I think like they did a, like even though it's not my favorite movie in the world, it's like they did a great job of just being like, boom, like you thought this was gonna be jokes, boom, like
here we go. Yeah, and I loved like when they would go when the what's his name? I'm bad with names when I have to think of him. What's his name? What's his name?
Oh, Christopher Walken?
Christopher Walken. There we go. Christopher Walken. When he first shows him like the remote, I don't know if you remember. My memory is very clear. Like he clicks a button and they go into the remote like service and like their big screen is in front of them and
I remember that. Yeah.
I love stuff like that. I don't know, like it's just so techie and kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like you remember the scene in The Matrix where Neo and Morpheus are in like the white space and then like the shelves of guns come up like that type of shit.
You gonna frown me. I ain't never seen The Matrix.
That's okay. a lot of people haven't. I was talking to my man Alphonse about it on the last one of these. Like, yeah, like a lot of people haven't seen The Matrix, but it's
should I watch it? Is it worth the watch?
At some point, yeah. Like it's because like The Matrix is one of those weird joints because like so many people haven't seen it, but like everyone knows what it's about. Like you could probably talk about like two scenes and you've never seen the movie, you know, like it's just like we just absorb it through osmosis. Like the bullet time scene and the whole concept of the computer. It's like it's definitely worth a shot because I think it's on HBO Max, but like it's like that's the first one is like like to me anyway, it's like really, really, really excellent. The second and third aren't as good. They might actually be garbage, but I enjoy watching them. And the fourth one is fine. Okay. It's the like the new one that came out last month. It's fine. But it's worth it. Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it.
Okay, bet. Because I'm like, because you know how sometimes classics aren't always good. Sometimes classics are just classics, and to some people, and we've all like co-signed to that. I'm like, yeah, sure, you know. But,
yeah, like we just agree for no reason. But yeah, like sometimes, like even bad movies, they'll like do like one interesting thing that kind of like set the stage for something else, and like that makes it a classic, or at least like that makes it like a worthwhile like history item that's worth preserving or something. But either way, you know, like. And like it's all opinion at the end of the day, like you know like I love Wild Wild West. That's like one of my favorite movies ever. That shit is ass, but I love that movie. Like
you know, why do you love it?
Because it's there's a lot of really great memories attached to it. I grew my sister and my father and I like would watch it a lot while I was growing up, and you know like Will Smith had the song and like the song was everywhere, like and like I just love I was really into steampunk as a kid, and like the spider looked cool as hell, and the action scenes are pretty cool. But like it's just like a really like silly kind of like it wouldn't hold up today. There's like certain aspects of it that are like like you know like
but it's
the whole
nostalgic for you. It's nostalgic.
Yeah. You know, like it's like I can appreciate the way it makes me feel, and I just like I'm a yeah.
It's so beautiful. Like I don't know, just to think about how shit can hold weight because of the nostalgia of it. You know what I mean? It timestamps something for you in your head, so it's like that shit is a classic to you, and that's
right.
Yeah, even if it's garbage, shit's good as hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember the Scooby-Doo movies, like the real life action one. I forgot. It's older. It's like older. Like I kind of like that. Was it a good movie? I'd probably go watch it. It's not good, but it's like a good movie to me.
No, I feel it. Because I used to have that shit on DVD. I think I saw it in the theater, and then I grabbed it on DVD. And the guy who plays Shaggy was amazing. Like he was crazy with it.
Yeah, what I remember is like everybody was well suited for their character.
So. And like even though like Scooby-Doo doesn't look great in that movie, especially not now, but like everybody did a good job, and like it's fun, you know. And Outkast had that song on the soundtrack too. Like it was
it's cool. Like it's a decent movie. It's a good watch. Feel good.
Yeah, you know, and like it's good to feel good. We got to remember that sometimes. Like shit's bad right now, but like it's good to feel good.
You think shit bad right now?
It could be better, you know. Yo, and like and you know, and like I'm happy you brought up that little nostalgia point, because you talking about the Wiz, like there was something I wanted to say before. Oh yeah, so when I graduated elementary school, they had like I was in the choir, and they had us sing Ease On Down the Road, and that was like our graduation song.
Yep.
Like,
love Ease On Down the Road.
And like that was before, and that was like before I saw The Wiz. So like I knew the song, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, that's where it comes from, you know, like so like I already had that connection to it before I even saw the movie, and of course, you know, I've seen it, and it's great and amazing, but like, yeah, just like those little moments really just like because you were talking about one of the songs, I forget which one now, but it's just like the way those
he's the wizard.
Right.
Yeah,
just the way those like just the way those memories implant themselves in your brain, and just like you know like whether it's The Wiz or like Wild Wild West or some shit, it's just like it's just there, you know, it's just part of you.
It is. And I remember somebody pointing out that I think the Wicked Witch of the West, her throne in The Wiz was a fat toilet, and I don't know why I didn't like, even when she went down it, I didn't perceive that was a toilet.
Oh shit. Wow, it was a toilet. Wow.
And that was very clever and funny to me.
Yeah. No, you just blew my mind. I got to go back and watch The Wiz now. That's crazy.
Because I remember that closes shut. It like she's like, no, gets flushed and it closes.
That shit is crazy. See, like just like that's how you know it's a good movie. You just keep finding out new things about it. This movie's like what, 40 years old or some shit. Like
old as hell.
That's wild. So I mean, like I feel like I'm gonna ask this anyway, even though I feel like The Wiz kind of fits there, but you could tell me if it doesn't. Like as you're kind of growing up and you get more experiences through watching film, like was there a movie that kind of made you fall in love with movies outside of like maybe like it doesn't necessarily have to be in an artful way, but it could be like just something that made you appreciate movies as more than just like a casual thing to do, I guess.
What did I'm trying to think about like when I watched a lot of like TV. So I think for me, I was big on shows.
That's cool.
I really liked Boondocks. I was watching it too young for me to understand most of the jokes, but
oh, we all were, son.
We all were young, and it's just I don't know, for some reason I really liked and loved and fell in love with the creativity you can do in that medium, if that makes sense. Like you can tell a story but also have these layered and like I'm really into like humor / seriousness / like mind whatever, but I don't know. Boondocks was just like, I love how these characters talk. It's very clever, funny, XYZ. As far as like movie shit, yes, The Wiz. I think also Crooklyn. I don't know if I mentioned Crooklyn earlier.
No, you didn't.
Crooklyn is like one of the movies that I really love. Yeah, it's just like a great movie.
Yeah, no, Crooklyn's fantastic. Like that's like when Spike was still in his prime, and like he didn't go and like make terrible movies for a decade because he did that. But no, Crooklyn's one of the good ones. My father, you mentioned your father had the
layout, the disc holder.
Yeah, so like my father he had every Spike Lee movie made from School Days up to Bamboozled on DVD.
Like Bamboozled, I forgot about Bamboozled. Crazy deep.
Yeah, that's like I can't like I've seen that movie twice in my life. Both times I had to take a break. I can't watch the whole thing front to back.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like so, like my dad had all these movies and he didn't open them. He just had them, and he was like, "I'm gonna watch them someday," and he just like never opened them. But like,
that's gonna be worth some money. I know we ain't. It's probably not about money, but
I mean, I opened them, so it's not like it's not like that.
Okay.
I went through and like I grabbed I think Do the Right Thing, Bamboozled. Which ones? School Days is great. Jungle Fever, and there was another one that like really sat with me. The Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Yeah, but yeah, just like that was it for me. Like and Mo Better Blues. Sorry, forgot about that.
Oh no, that's Spike Lee. Like I don't know what the fuck happened recently, but like he was so good. He was so good. Like he's definitely one of the people like they've made their mark in history, and you can't denounce that. But It's just like, what are you doing? It's giving like Kanye. It's like
Eek.
What are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, like, but you know, like at least like Spike kind of bounced back a little bit. I like the Five Bloods a lot. The army movie he put out a couple of years back. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, I
Um
gotta check it out.
and that was one of the last things Chadwick Boseman made before he passed away too, and he's excellent in it.
Wow.
Like
Okay, I gotta check it out then.
but yeah, you know, like it might be that money that he took from the NYPD to make those commercials that kind of fucked him up. Because I also like, yeah, he's just really, his whole thing is really, I feel like I've talked about this again on the show too, but like his trajectory is just so strange to me. Like I don't get it. Like
Yeah, me neither.
it's
Me
just
neither.
like he's got classics, and then he made like an entire decade of misses, like between like, what did he make? He made Chirac was terrible. Fucking Old Boy was
Terrible.
terrible. He made a bunch of like just trash, and then out of nowhere it was like, okay, I'm gonna make good movies again. Like it's like I'm back. Like, hey, you know, I needed a break to just like not be the Spike Lee.
Spike
Like I
Lee.
don't know.
He made a lot of like Chicagoans mad
I
with
bet.
like the Chirac shit. It's like,
Yo,
that's what you don't do.
I can only imagine, because now I'm thinking about it now. I've never talked to anybody from Chicago about how that movie impacted y'all city. Like, what was
And
that like?
I feel like I didn't even like see all of it, right? Because I feel like I was like, okay, I'm not interested, and I'll just be getting mad. So I think when it came out, I know there was like one person who was like, "It's Spike Lee, like, you know how Spike Lee is experimental, you know that Spike Lee always has a." But I was like, "Nah, brethren, it can't, not this one." Like, I think a lot of people were just upset because, again, like with Chicago, a lot of people like to speak on us who are not from here,
Right.
and that creates a lot of like miscommunication, like somebody get a coochie up, then the violence going. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I understand it was based on like a mythological story, but still, I just feel like misrepresenting Chicago is just a cardinal sin. It's just so, I don't know. Niggas ain't fuck with it. That's all I gotta say.
felt felt yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I just, like I saw it. One of my homies got it on bootleg and brought it to my other homie's crib, and the three of us watched it. I saw the shit for free and I wanted my money back. That's how much
You
I
said you
hated that
wanted
fucking
your
movie.
money back.
Like I
You
was I was
said,
mad, son. I was
you said,
mad.
this ain't it. It's just, yeah, nah, nah.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
pretty much just like, nah, like
He said, you could have kept this in your head, put shit back in your head.
hell no. Like you know, like, so like this is, so let's do the other thing with music. So like growing up, like when did you first really start to fall in love with music and start to appreciate that?
I think I've always like been drawn to music, period, throughout my life. Cause I did musicals in elementary school. So I
Mm-hmm.
would sing a lot. I would sing in my classrooms. People would tell me to shut up. So sad. They'd just be like, shut up. But then I think when I was more conscious enough to hear what my dad was listening to and to hear like some more hip hop based shit, he would play a lot of like battle rap ish hip hop, or just like hip hop that's very intense. So I
Right.
think for me, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Um, but yeah, he would listen to that. That's how I found out about Jay Electronica.
Mm-hmm.
Became a big, like, I think a fan when it was like played in the car on the radio. I don't think I would look it up so much. Um, what else? I think specifically, I remember a time me and him went on a drive. We was delivering newspapers together. I was like 13, and I just accompanied him. This was like overnight route.
Right. Oh wow, yeah, that's
Yeah.
real.
So I was like, I'll get up at 2 a.m. Why not? And I'll help you. So I went with him and we played the whole Food album where he played it for me.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I had heard it before, but imagine being like sleepy loopy. It's like 4 or 5 a.m. and you're just hearing like MF Doom's voice. I think something clicked in me and I like fell in love a little bit. With that's specifically with hip hop. I've always loved jazz, I think. So Ella Fitzgerald, you know, Billie Holiday, Lou,
Always.
the basics folks, but I just loved jazz first, kinda, and then that went into MF Doom, Most Def, and then that was the rabbit hole.
See, that's really interesting that you started with jazz.
Mhm.
Because you know, like obviously, like hip hop is made up of a whole bunch of other different things, but one of
It
those
is,
primarily being jazz.
yeah.
And like Food is just like that album is like a dream in and of itself. Like even if you're like fully conscious, like it's just I remember the first time I heard Food, and that shit just like it wasn't the first Doom album I'd ever heard, but it was like the one like I connected to that in just such a I don't know why it's like the whole thing is just about food but I just
It
like
is.
connected to it and just some like it just
I
drew me
love
to
stuff
it.
like that. When you can effectively like stick with a theme and like make it not corny and just make it so dope and just I don't know. I loved it.
Right. And like this is probably gonna sound fucking wild corny, but like Doom always reminded me of like a he always reminded me of like a jazz man in that way, just like just like his flows and like
Hmm.
the way he puts words together, like it's just a
Yeah.
like it really puts me in the mind where I could say something like you have to listen to the words he's not saying, or like the notes he's not like it
Yeah.
makes me want to do that, even though I know it's like it sounds so stupid, but like I don't know.
No. He is like a great, like if we're talking about the kind of the scat all over the place, like random, you know what I mean, flow shit.
Yeah.
I love Doom for that. And he's just I don't know. I'm very sad about his death. The other day I was listening to a podcast about him. It was like, did you ever hear the one about MF Doom?
My
Have you heard
homegirl has
it?
been telling me to listen to that, and I haven't done it yet. I gotta do it.
Good. It's so like podcasts that create like through the sound, it creates the like environment, and the person hosting it represent Doom so well and allows people in his life to tell the story about who he was. It's great. You should listen to it. But just like
Nah.
it made me so sad. I was like, MF Doom like will never able to hear me rap. Like he won't be able to do that. And it's so sad. Like make me even
Damn.
upset.
Right. Like yeah. Like I remember exactly where I was when I found out he died. Like
Yeah. Where were you?
I was in I was in the parking lot of a Dollar Tree with my
Mm,
partner.
mm,
And I was on my homie texted me, my homie Adam, shout out to Adam. He texted me and was like, "Yo, did you hear this news about Doom?" And I was like, "What news about Doom?" And I ran to
mm,
Twitter and I saw and I was like, it just like I I'm still shook. It's been like a year and a half and I still
yeah.
can't like process it, you know? It's just he's just one of those people you never thought was gonna die, you know? Like he'll live forever through us and shit.
Yeah. And
But like
that's I love like I say I love a lot already. I can feel it. I'm gonna listen back to the shit and be like, I love, but I genuinely, I genuinely feel like he's one of them people who, when you talk about, felt like he would never die. People like that are amazing because just like you in your lifetime, in your short lifespan, you were able to create something that so many people could connect with that it will live forever. Because he's gonna be talked about for generations and generations and generations on, you know.
right. And like not even just because of the music, but just like the way that he went about it. Like he just took the shit by the reins and just like
Yeah.
created his own narrative that nobody had really done, and like that makes him a legend. Like, and you know, you could do
Yeah.
this, you could say the same thing about somebody like Ronnie Spector, who just passed away
Hmm.
like last week. Like, you know, like you think about the Ronettes, like that's just
Hmm.
like their music is just like, you know, I'm like my dad was a doo-wop R&B guy, so like that was just like, you know, that
Hmm.
was my childhood. So like,
Right.
just
And
to
it's
think that
just
she's not here is like damn. Like
yeah, it's just so like crazy how again we think about time, like time literally waits for nobody. Whatever that time looks like, it just keeps like going. We just keep existing. And eventually I don't want to be morbid, but I'm like, eventually we're all gonna go. So I think that like sits with me a lot as an artist. I'm just like, damn, like, you're not gonna be here forever, so you might as well just make your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well just
See,
make your shit.
I feel that too. Like I think about that as, like as like a writer, creative, whatever the fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
to me, like art art is the closest thing to immortality that we have. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
artifacts, like your music, your music is gonna live way past you. And like somebody like 60 years in the future is gonna find like Bandz of the Moonlandin
Mm-hmm.
or Mira or any of the other joints you've
Mm-hmm.
dropped, and someone's gonna be like, what is this? And it's gonna
Yeah.
be like a thing that speaks to people, and like
Yeah.
you're speaking when you're not here type shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you'll be here in 60 years, but like,
I
you know what
want
I
to
mean?
be,
Like,
hopefully.
yeah, fingers
Also, maybe
crossed.
not. I don't know. Shit. Who knows what's gonna be popping off? But yeah, that's all I kind of want. Like, if down the line somebody see like here's my shit and it's like, no, this was a person a part of like a certain type of revolution, or this is a person a part of a renaissance, a musical renaissance, and I connect with her. I see where they was going. I connect, like, that's all I want. That's all I want. And I feel like my death was not in vain. Like, I don't even
Right,
know how I would go, but I'm just saying it's my existence was not taken for granted here. You know.
right. And nah, like people, like people are already starting to get in on it. Like it's
Yeah.
starting to build a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's
I sound sad
deserved,
about it. I'm like, yeah. Oh
nah,
my god.
nah,
I
you're
wonder, like, I know you've interviewed like mad people, so I'm sure you get like different like answers, different things, but it's so interesting seeing like where my music is going and the trajectory of it. I feel like oftentimes I don't know how to feel. I feel very like, a lot, the more eyes on it, it's a positive, also a negative, because I'm like, okay, I'm not in my bubble no more. It don't feel like it, at least.
right. And on top of that, it's like pressure, like
Yeah,
I don't know, because like pressure works differently for some people. Some people don't care, some people
yeah.
feel it. Like, yeah, like having more eyes on you means that there's just like I don't want to say there's like less room for error, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just like there's just like more people paying attention, and
Yeah.
that's scary. Like this is kind of this isn't exactly the same, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first crossed over to 5,000 followers on Twitter. And
Right.
like I remember when I first made it to like 100 and thought like, damn, like 100 people are like looking at the
Mm-hmm.
shit that I write, and now I think I have like 6,300 or something like that, and
Woo!
that's just like scary to me. Like
It's
there's like,
scary as fuck, ain't
what? you know
it?
but like that's but yeah, but like not to make it too much about me, but that's just like just like the general idea of like eyes on you and more
Yeah.
eyes coming on you, like especially like I remember when I saw Wiki and Sage say that they had you opening for them on their tour, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, A, amazing look, B, like that's just like more people, like
Yeah.
it's just in
Yeah.
that sense, like
Yeah. And it's just crazy because I'm like, you know, I know I like a lot of folks I know I've met organically, which is kind of beautiful. Like Mike, I met him through like Insta, and then we became like homies. And then Sage, like I knew through Mike, and then we would talk or whatever, XYZ. And it's kind of beautiful to like meet different people organically like that. But I think once like you start making connections like that, there comes like the outside, you ain't established no like type of friendship, relationship, whatever with them, acquaintanceship with them, and people just are a part of your journey now. Does that make sense? So like the
it
outside,
does.
well, there's people on Twitter, there's people on heard me through this and they don't know me, but they think they know me because mommy, I don't know, but just like it creates a weird like positive, negative, like I love meeting new people and having new connections, but at the same time, it's like when I write now, it feels like so many eyes on me, more so than just my own. And I was like, shit, I guess that's again like talking about growing up. I think that's a part of growing up where, okay, niggas need to be more solid in themselves, because once other people are involved, you kind of just gotta like brush them off and force them into the audience seats and not on the stage with you.
Right. Yeah, right. And you know, like that divide is so important and so necessary. Like it's as necessary as you want it to be. It, you know, like it varies from person to person, but
Yeah,
you know, like we're all people and we don't
we
all,
are.
you know, like some of us are like really open about who we are and what we're about in our lives and whatever, and some people aren't. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, like you seem like somebody who's not like, just like from all the music of yours I've heard, you're not like super introverted and like not willing to share, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it's like a reasonable, like it's a reasonable distance. It's not like
Yeah,
you need to be in the crowd every time type
yeah,
shit, you know? Like
yeah, yeah. For me, I'm just like I treat my music kind of like a conversation, unless I'm like coming from a character point of view. Then that's different because I feel like I've done that before too. But if I'm talking about me, I'm kind of just more treating it like a conversation, more like my raps are like talking to somebody, and I think that that's what I kind of like is that barrier of a conversation. Cause how personal can you get? You can get pretty personal, but like for me, I don't like to get too personal with
right.
people I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, like and you're like that discernment is all you know, like I like speaking for myself, like there are
Mhm.
times where I try not to overshare, but occasionally I'll catch myself being like,
Oh
why am I
yeah.
just telling this person I met 20 minutes ago this shit? Like,
I've
you
done
know?
that though. I've done that too though. I've done that too. I'll be like, hey, like, here's my whole life story.
But I feel like that also speaks to how comfortable you are with certain people versus like it's all vibes, and like we're all pretty good at discerning who's worthy of that
Hmm.
type of information. Like it could be, you know, like there are people that I've met that I've just like clicked with immediately, and some that
Yeah.
like it just happens, you know, it
Yeah.
just fucking happens.
And I kind of love that too because humans, we, especially now, I feel like we're very like contact averse. Sometimes we're very awkward in person. And when you can meet somebody who you kind of click with, it makes it more easier, feel more comfortable. So
Right.
yeah, sometimes
Sometimes, yeah.
sometimes people be like, I don't know if it's narcissists or whatever, but they like, hey, how you doing? And they get along with everybody, but then you're like, you're the worst person on earth. You figure out later, like, you're the worst person on earth.
Yeah, like it's just like trying too hard to make themselves look nice, and then it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
but you're not. Like,
Or cordial, just cordial with people. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, I
So,
feel it. I definitely feel it.
mhm.
So considering all of that, especially the bit about you kind of liking your music to be like a conversation, like so, like growing up and listening to music, when did you first decide that you wanted to go from just listening to rap to making rap, or just music in general? Like,
Mhm. I think because I started out with the poetry background also, like I did a lot of poems in elementary. It's always I'm sure Crash Press could tell you about the slam poetry, the SoundCloud pipeline.
oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, but I think like being a slam poet prepared me to be a rapper because with slam poetry you have to kind of like pace your words and pace your performance, and it's very similar. And I think one day in freshman year I was just kind of like, this random dude who was in the YouMedia studio was like, you can come in here, and he played a beat and I was like, I want to be on it, so we just made a song, and I was like, I'm pretty good. So ever since then I kind of just practiced rapping and poetry simultaneously without even consciously knowing that I was doing that.
That's hard. Yeah, I was
Mhm.
gonna I was gonna ask about your time in YouMedia because I was doing some clicking around and I saw that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of Chicago artists of a certain generation have a really intimate relationship with YouMedia. So like,
Mhm.
talk to me a little bit more about that, and like how did and like how else do you feel, if at all, it kind of like affected the way that you create your art?
I think YouMedia is, without having YouMedia, I probably wouldn't be the artist I am today. Only because the mentors there were made, like the people who just worked there in that library center teen area. And when I was in high school, so 2014, 2018, like, were amazing. I don't know what that hiring process looked like, but they did they shit. And I like loved almost everybody who worked there because there was one mentor who was like good with digital stuff, who was good with video, camera work, and I would work with him sometimes and he would help me with my projects. Then there was another one who she sewed and like she was helping teach niggas how to sew and I don't know. It just I could go on and on about YouMedia, but I think it helped so much with my career rapping and my art because it gave me the freedom along with resources. So I had
Yeah.
I had the center to do whatever the fuck I want. Even if it had nothing to do with music, I could just chat and communicate and network with people. And some of the teens from other high schools would come in there too. And we would chat and we would like do little stupid songs together and we would so I was like unintentionally practicing for networking, practicing for collaborating, practicing talking to people. I was also on the YouMedia Slam team for 3 years. So
Oh
for this
wow.
poetry competition in Chicago called Louder Than a Bomb at the time, it was called that, we would compete as the YouMedia team. And it was like folks that I had spent most of my high school year with developing my writing with. So these niggas raw as fuck at writing. I'm like, nah, I gotta get good too. So I'm not like the one nigga who's like not good. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yeah.
I just think that I was just very blessed to experience YouMedia because I feel like that's something that as a young kid, especially a young Black kid, like you need resources, you need shit to do after school, like to develop your craft outside of niggas telling you just gotta go to college, like
Right.
because honestly without that I just couldn't fathom a path to where I am today. I couldn't fathom it.
Man, like that's just like that shit is so important. Even
Mhm.
if you're not from Chicago and just like having those resources, having those people who believe in you, and
Mhm.
having just being in a position where steel can sharpen steel like that is just
Yes.
like I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have certain people in my corner like acknowledge
Yes.
helping to root me on with writing and just like taking the time to like show me what to do and how to do
Yeah.
it and just like fostering it.
Yes, and it connects directly with my like I feel like I have a unconscious philosophy of like, a lot of African like based tradition is very community based. And I think that that is very important for the development of everybody. Like you need like a community growing up. The village does raise the child, and
Oh
I felt
hell
that.
yeah.
And I think I was just again blessed enough to experience that. And I'm just so happy because people every day or every other day after school, I'm going in there, and whether I know it or not, I'm being affirmed in whatever I'm doing. As a 14, 13-year-old, I'm being like affirmed. People are like, you're good, like or just even in workshops being like, I enjoy this, I'm gonna get better. I don't know, it's just yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nah. That's just like the other side of affirmation because like we think about affirmation as just like a thing where like you say it and it happens. But
Mhm.
like affirmation just comes at I can't believe I'm about to say this like it's a TED talk or some shit. But affirmation comes through action. Like I don't know why that just made me think about that, but just like I
Yeah.
just like that like it doesn't even come just through your action. It comes through like the
Mhm.
actions of others and shit. Like
Exactly. And affirmation just being like somebody being like, I see this potential in you. We're gonna workshop this stuff. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Like that's so beautiful to me. And it's so funny. One of my poetry coaches, who I had for like, I think 1 year during the slam poetry season or 2 years, was in Southside. Hilarious. The person
wow.
who I don't know if you remember this scene, but she's the officer. What's her name? I'm not getting good at it. She was preparing for a funeral. she was gonna see like old friends and stuff like that. So she had like got her hair done.
Yeah. I remember this episode.
Yes. And the person who's like, every time a lady walks in the room, he's like commenting on like, oh damn, look at that. Oh, and then it's like, oh, here comes so and so. She the thickest. I don't know. It's just so funny to see them do that. Osiris is so fucking funny. Like, I was like, this is hilarious. I don't know.
And like,
I'll send you the clip, but
yeah, do it. That's him. You're talking about him?
yeah, it was like one scene. I don't know if this is a recurring character. I don't think he's recurring because I only seen him in this one, but it's there at the funeral, and it's like one light skinned person with like little locks, and they like, damn, like with the thickness. I don't know. It was just so funny because I'm like, Osiris.
That's so crazy. Like, yo, you seeing people in shows like that just always
it's just great. I just love it.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like before we move on to like more specific like music, like more specific like songs and projects that you've done, I was just curious, since you mentioned it a little earlier, like, but if you could go into a little more detail about like the first song that you made that you knew like that, like I could do this, like not even just like I like this and I'm interested in it, like I could do it. Like, did you have a moment like that?
I think around maybe 2019, I had released a project, like a little EP called I Don't Want to Have to Yell for You to Listen. And I think that was the first time that I had like a little traction in the city. It was just a little bit, you know, some minor. I was going to open mics, like performing the songs. It was a song called Manifest. And I was just like, nah, I did my shit with this one, because every time that I would like perform it, people would be like pop, like people would be just, you know, banging their head. I don't know. So I think kind of for me, that was like around that time. I couldn't say a specific like song, but I think that project gave me a lot of like confidence in my art and confidence. Right. I had released a project before called Wait, which was really good and really kind of like adolescent in my own way. But I think that the I Don't Want to Have to Yell for You to Listen was very, I don't know. I think it got shouted out in the reader, just a little honorable mention, and that was when I was like, okay, yeah, I got that. I got this shit.
Oh, hell yeah. I was listening to I Don't Want to Have to Yell for You to Listen earlier today while I was making lunch, actually. And
album.
I really fuck with it. Yeah, it's like between Fuckboy, Bandz, and Manifest, like those are the two songs that really stuck out to me, because I hadn't heard it before. I hadn't heard it before today, but I was just like, you know, just on some general research tip, like it just,
what's up,
like, and now like, you had it there. I was just like listening to the beats and just like, nah, it's tight. Like I could see it, you know, I could definitely see that. That's you know, you were there already. Like,
and I had some like Lucy's on SoundCloud that I put in high school. There was like a song called Don't Drown. It's still up there, but like that verse, I was like, ooh, I did that. I did my shit. But I think like in high school it was definitely development, but then as soon as I got out of high school, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for real. So let's do it.
And you know, like going through all your stuff over the course of the last couple of days, one thing I noticed and that I really love is that it seems like you have this affinity for group projects, like or like collaborate, or not group projects, but like collaborative stuff. Like, you know, like you and Mims, the Magnificent, shout out to Mims, just put out that 2-pack not too long ago, and you and Morgan put out Mira back in 2020, like, you and Trey Johnson put out a project together, and like, you know, you seem to have this, like, you draw energy from other people in a way that not everybody necessarily does. So I was just curious, like, what's your favorite part of working collaboratively with other artists and producers, and what do you feel like that kind of brings out of you as an individual?
I think that when you work with people, I'm kind of picky about working with people sometimes. actually, because I'm like, all right, like, what type of song are we finna make right now? You know what I mean? Or what are we gonna make for real? And I think my best collaborations are with people I've known for a while. And like I've like a little fox, like peeping my head out. I'm like, oh, your sound is similar to mine. Like, oh, your sound is similar to mine. Or I can see your vision with this, and you can see my shit, and let's make something. I don't know. I just feel like I have a good ear for when other people and my shit is gonna sound good together. And also, I think you, again, with that collective shit, like, you can't do the stuff alone in this. And I think some of your best art is collaborative art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I think, like, it's, things get kind of cluttered, and the whole idea of like biting starts to come up sometimes. And I don't always think that, like, to me it's really easy to tell when someone is like influenced and inspired by somebody and they want to make dope art together. And then there's a difference between that and somebody who's just like biting a style, which is obviously not what's happening here. But like, it's just I think we're in a time right now, like across, like between everything happening over here in New York and stuff happening in Chicago, like it just feels like rap in general is like a lot more collaborative now, or at least like the collaborative mindset just seems to be a little more like
present.
People just feel a little more like connected to connecting with people, like, and that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think like I think we are seeing another renaissance in hip hop and underground hip or whatever. And it's cool to see, like, not cliques necessarily, but circles form, and like to see the, like, a lot of, like, you're right, a lot of circles are willing to do crossover episodes, hella crossover episodes with other like circles, or like even within the circle, like seeing another artist collab with another artist is just so beautiful, and kind of makes sense because that circle has not a similar sound, but everybody, it's like the same little like gated community. You know what I mean? That's the best analogy I can think of. But yeah, like, it's, I don't know, it's beautiful to see, and I love to be a part of it, and I love to collaborate with folks, and that doesn't change for 2022 either. I have like a lot of like collaborative stuff coming.
That's beautiful, like it's just I think that word community has, because like I've had this conversation a lot with a lot of different people, and like I think the word community feels like appropriate, and like it's just because like there's like all sorts of different definitions for whatever is going on, whether you want to call it like independent, underground. There's 1,000 different definitions. No one really agrees on which one works best, but like, like this shit is just cluttered. But like, but like, to me, it's always, it feels like a community, and there's always people entering and exiting that community in various different ways. And like, I just think that general like air influence just makes everyone's work better.
It does. It really does. And you see it because like we talking about, the collective is a fire. Everybody is like on their shit or fire or doing the work. So
absolutely. Before we wrap this up, I obviously want to touch on I Got Bandz for the Moonlandin, because it's like I'm like, no bullshit, like the shit really, like the shit was a head bust. It was just beautiful to just sit with it and just, I'm
glad you like it.
Listen, like I just I'm just like trying to like put it into words. Like it's just so, it feels like space, like it just like it just feels like floating with your thoughts, and you see like a cool colorful nebula on the side, and just like a bunch of niggas just like dancing on the stars type shit. Like that's what it gave me listening to it front to back. And just like walk me through like the concept, like why I got Bandz for the Moonlandin, like why did you feel the need to go to space with this one?
Well, the title is based on a conversation I was having with one of my friends, and we were talking about the moon landing and whether or not it was like fake. And I kind of have like, I'm kind of like, I feel like anything is possible. We've seen enough crazy shit from the United States government that I literally believe that anything is possible, you know, whether it be they didn't fake it at all or they fake. I have no way to gauge that actually. So I kind of keep it in the middle with that subject particularly. But then I think they were describing to me how like just they don't have enough money to go again. Cause you know how people always be like, well, they could just go again if they did it once to the moon.
Right.
And they were just like, oh, they don't have enough money. And I was just thinking about that days later, like, you know, what's a good affirmation for myself for just like now talking about the words I could speak. Well, I got Bandz for the Moonlandin. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, like I got all the money I ever need. Or just like I got everything, you know, right here, all I ever need. So I think I was kind of thinking about, okay, I've said a lot in other interviews recently too, like the concept of space. Like there's the space in your head, there's your room space, there's your there's so many different concepts of space. And I think like us just existing and me being an overthinker, I overthink shit threefold, fourfold, like
right.
So just like there's so much going on in my head, and it's kind of just like space, like nobody can really see it or be up close to it, but it's there and it exists. And like I was just thinking about again the different forms of space and what that meant for me, especially when I was sequencing it. So, cause the planet shit, the space shit didn't come until I sat down, looked at everything, and was kind of like, oh, this sounds like space. This sounds like my head is going back and orbiting, and like, you know, the ups and the downs of life, and yeah. So, and escapism too. Like, nigga, we don't want to be here.
Right.
I don't want to be here right now. Beam me up, Scotty.
Right. Like you know, like that made me like when I first saw the title, it made me think of Q-Tip's hook on Space Program from fucking the Last Tribe album when he said there ain't no space program for niggas. Like I like yeah, but like we, you know, like space is like space is something that a lot of people, like a lot of black people, a lot of black artists especially, have explored, and I'm always really attuned to that. And you know, like it's, you know, like of course Sun Ra is a very huge presence on this album. Just like hearing his voice. And I wanted to ask you, since this is a movie podcast too, have you seen Space is the Place? Have you seen his movie before?
No, I need to though.
You got to tap in and watch Space is the Place. Like, oh my God.
I feel like I'm sleeping, especially if I use it for my, like, you dig? I'm gonna write it down right now.
Yeah, I love just like listening to the songs and hearing him go, it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, and it took me a couple times to think, and I'm like, that's Sun Ra, isn't it? So like, yeah, shout out to the God. He's amazing.
You're probably not the first, but I think you're one of the first interviewers who picked up on that. I did an interview and they didn't know. They thought it was Paul Mooney. I was like, it ain't Paul Mooney.
He's not wild enough to sound like Paul Mooney to me. Like Paul Mooney has that like gravel to his voice, and Sun Ra is like gentle and shit. Like
and I saw my friend open up for his orchestra.
Oh shit.
Sisters of the Nitty Gritty. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
I'm not actually.
It's with my friend Tiana Anayet, and then it's Brooke, the bassist, and then it's Angel DeWeed as the like she does clarinet, whatever. They opened up for them over the summer in New York, and the orchestra is so tapped in with Sun Ra. Like even if that nigga is like dead and gone, like he's not gone for real. Like they are so tapped. I think that was very inspiring to me. I'm like, damn, like they really hold this energy that is like not of here, and it kind of had a freedom to it. And I think that stuck with me. Especially while I was like sequencing the album.
I could see that. Like,
Mhm.
and what so like what was it about Sun Ra specifically that made you feel like, because like he's not just on like a song or two, like his presence is across like the whole joint. So like
Mhm.
what is it about him and the orchestra and just like his philosophy that kind of, or maybe it's not that deep, but like what is it about Sun Ra that really drew you to kind of have him be like
Okay.
hover over the joint?
I think so. It's not necessarily not that deep. It's somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna tell you because I was listening to the interview. It's kind of a popular interview where he kind of starts out and it's just like, I'm not satisfied with the planet. Like, I'm not from here. Like, I don't really like y'all niggas for real. I want to leave. Like, he basically just saying that.
Yeah,
And I was like, I feel you, nigga. Like, and that accompanied with the performance of his orchestra that I seen, I was like, see, this makes sense with the continuity of the album. It just like makes sense with the songs and kind of like drops you in and out of planets and like thinking about, okay, I'm not from here. And I feel like that's a big thing with a lot of Black people is that sometimes we feel like we ain't from here, or because we've been rejected so much, or we just feel like, our spirits are elsewhere, like we're accompanied by people who are not of this planet, XYZ, whatever. And I like connect to that so much. So I chose to kind of let his voice carry the album, being the glue more so of the album. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah.
And like and like one of my favorite aspects of the album, like you were talking about freedom earlier, and like like how
Mm-hmm.
space kind of how space is kind of associated with that. Like this album sounds very free to me, just like not
Mm-hmm.
even like, because like, you could take that so many different ways, because like having bands for the Moonlandin, that's freedom. Because like if
Yeah. Yeah.
you got money to send people to the moon, that's freedom.
That's freedom.
Like the way you're rapping here, and like the way you you brought up the sequencing a bunch of times, like
Mm-hmm.
the way the songs kind of flow into each other, and like and like the different flows that you're doing on all these songs, like no two songs sound the same, and it's just like that, like that's freedom to me. And like I
Uh,
love, like it feels like there's a concept kind of, but it's like very very loose and very like just, or at least to me, like obviously this is just my interpretation, but like it's
mhm.
very like it's loose in a way that feels solid, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it
You're
just
right on the
feels
money. You're right on
like,
the money because when I was creating it, there was no specific theme. I feel like what had happened was was creating mad shit over a year or so. Looked back after a while, I was like, wow, I have a project. I have enough songs. Let me stop holding on to these songs. Like, cause my God is like 3 years old before I put it out. It was like
oh
3 years.
wow,
So I think I kind of took different songs over the course of my living and just kind of was like, all right, it's time. These make sense together a little bit. So
right. Like this feels like a This Is Me project, in the sense of
Mhm.
like, in the sense of like I'm all of these things. Like I can rap like this, I can talk about this thing, like all these things, like they inform us of who you are, but they're not like, it's not like they all come together and like tell like this crazy complicated story. It's just like,
Mhm.
this is me, I can do
Mhm.
this, I can do that, I'm thinking about this, I went through that. And it's just like it's like a charcuterie board, or like an appetizer sampler of
Mhm.
like this is like the essential Semiratruth. That's
Yeah,
kind of what I got from this, and I
yeah,
fuck with that.
absolutely, absolutely. I think 2021 was the year that I kind of was started to grow in myself and be like, okay, feeling myself out, because right now, for instance, I'm 21. I'm like 6 months into being 21. I think when like you're kind of 20, a lot of songs are from the previous year. Like when I'm
Right.
20, I was feeling myself out. I feel like a lot of people feel themselves out at that time and figure out who they are. I'm still figuring out who I am, but just like that was the year I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put out music that kind of reflects my life, just kind of reflects like, because I think before I was trying hard to like, I don't know, I would say true shit, but I feel like it was real. like last year. It's like kind of more. I was being more intentional
Right.
about like being real and just kind of being trying to honest, because I feel like Mira and Bandz kind of go together in a sense. They kind of go together. It's kind of like a continuation of like each other. They're different things and kind of live on different planets, but they're kind of, they go together.
Right. You see, I could see that too. Like there's like Morgan's beats are just so like they're just so, they got so much texture to them, bro. And
Don't get me started. Morgan is amazing.
Like, yo, shout out to, yeah, like for real, like shout out to Morgan. Like you fucking put your ankle in that whole Mira album. Like
he sent me like a whole beat pack, and it took me like maybe a year to get through it, right and get through it. And it's just so worth it. He's amazing. He's basically been on like every project I've ever put out. I think so. I feel like if I go back, he has at least one beat on every project that I've put out.
That's so beautiful.
Including this Bandz, because he made the very last track.
Yep.
Just
that's so loose. And you also produced a bunch of bands too, which I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I just thought all the beats were dope, and I didn't like going through your discography. I hadn't seen your name on production too much. I know you've probably produced a bunch of your own shit before, but like seeing it written out that way, like just like that just adds another element to the whole, like this is Samira, you know, like
because 2020 was a lot of me experimenting with beat making.
Okay.
So I kind of had done it before, but that was really the year for me to be like, in 2021, but I just had a lot of 2020 beat, whatever. But but I was like, wow, these sound like, I don't know, they sound like something that was curated for me. Because I remember I started sending out some of them beats to people, and they could not rap over them. Like they were just like, I can't. Not that it was bad or nothing, but they was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I was like, let me do this myself. Let me do it. Move out the way. Let me do it.
Right. you know how to hit your pockets better than anybody, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the interesting thing about being a rapper producer. Like, you know, you just kind of slot yourself in and you can figure it out. But.
Yeah, you hear your like your shit. You know yourself.
Oh, yeah, you already know. Like
yeah.
I don't got any more questions. I think that's pretty much it, because I wound up asking the last question way earlier, and you know, kind of an abrupt end, but thank you. This was like I gotta tell you that, like, since kind of tapping in with Mira and like really sitting with your stuff and listening to Bandz, like it's been really great to just kind of like, you've been an incredible discovery for me. And I really appreciate I really appreciate your music. And you know, like we have I realized that we have a lot of mutual friends, and I just you know, just talking about community, I just really appreciate being able to like chop it up for like a little bit and get to know each other a little better, and just like talk about bullshit. You know.
Obviously, of course. I love those interviews that kind of start out or like kind of have in and out questions about something other than my music. So I really appreciated the beginning, you know, and even the end too. Don't get me wrong, but I just really appreciate like the questions that aren't about my music. I could just talk about, you know, my experiences with certain medias and how I felt about them. So
of course we're all human, and like that's why I do this, because like we're human and we like stuff that's more than just the stuff that we're known for. And I just like to talk, and I'm happy to, you know, I'm just happy to boost anybody out here who's doing like beautiful shit that more people need to hear about. So just thank you for real. Like
of course.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the Black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.